Gee, Vikarja. Um, this is a quick video just to show you some really nice progress. Kind of felt a bit inspired after work today, and I made some progress. This will be unedited, unfiltered. First, I'll try and kind of communicate the problem, where it's coming from, the thing we're trying to solve, and this is building on what we were talking about, myself and Michael, in the last, I don't know, podcast we did. Every man needs a podcast. Um, so we created. Originally, it was just this one, the irregular verbs course, and originally it was just typing lessons, and then we added in listening and speaking, and then originally it was just this bit and this bit. We've increased the AI, improved the AI, but it was just this, like, two sentences, and then later on we added in this, which I really like. It's kind of like, break it into its component parts. It's particularly nice for Irish because it's a verb first word order, which kind of throws people off. It definitely threw me off because I think I started learning Irish when I was 5 at school, and then it's only when I was an adult that I realized that it wasn't word for word. And it's because to speak volumes of my qualities as a student. Um, yeah, so then, like, phrase view, we added this in, and again, this is really nice because sometimes it's better just to take the whole phrase, like especially in Irish, context is king. Like, the words before and after, the mutations and stuff. And then we also added in this lesson thing, so you can take a look here and go through this stuff. And this was all done iterated, like we did it in iterations. So, like, we put the first app out, and based on people using it, feedback, we would say, oh, we need this, we need that. And even still, I really want to put in something where, like, this is clickable, or like, and this formatting needs to be fixed. Actually, just seeing that every time I open the app I see a bug. This is peak indie development. Yeah, but more stuff. So then that was the idea, and then, like, we did this newer course, and we're rolling this one out, and it's kind of the same. Like, the reason we kind of, we started off typing lessons and then added in listening and speaking. Um, and more will come, more typed, fill in the blank or whatever. Try out more stuff. This is just kind of, we tried to cover the three major dialects, and then we're saying the three types of lessons, like typing, listening, and speaking. And it's by no means because this is what we think is the best and this is the ultimate solution. It's more like just trying to cover as much areas as possible, put stuff out, see how it goes, learn, and we are voracious for data. Like, it's all the anonymous stuff we collect. We, like, study it and try to, like, figure out why. So, anyways, I can actually show you the challenge here because I can show you a history in file types. This was the very first one. This is the prototype I made in May in my free time, and actually it might be mistakes here because there was a lot of mistakes in the original ones, but it was just an app I wanted to make that would be like an Anki but better, something that would have a bit of interaction. And then when you're making like an app, the question always is, like, am I just making a book? Should this just be in a book or like a web page? But trying to make the most of the interaction, and that was the idea. So this was the original one, and then, like, the idea is basically, like, in the lessons that you get this sentence in English, or the prompt, whatever it is, and then you get the response, and you go word by word, and then, like, the idea is that you, like, get a bit of visual feedback, a bit of dopamine, gamification, and you can focus in on the
Is
letters, and in this way, like, build up patterns.
mission.
And this is how I learned to spell and stuff growing up. And then later on, we added in the views. I think this one should be default. I really like this one. And then here we have, like, the phonetic spelling. This is how I actually spelled for, like, the first 10 years in school for me, or maybe more. How it sounds. How do you spell fish? I think it's like 5 different ways. Um, yeah, then look in the translations, and then we have, like, the IPA, which I think we might get rid of because, well, maybe we will support it, but it's just a lot of work, and I don't even know it. So this was like googling the symbols and stuff and trying to calculate it and stuff, and then we have a bit of note at the bottom. Um, yeah, so get a bit of interaction, and then word by word, kind of like a hangman type of game, and it's kind of evolved, and then get the audio because as we kept doing, the more we realized like a language is a collection of sounds first, and then the text comes second. So for a lot of standards, written standards, it doesn't always match up with the spoken language. I think anybody who learns French is aware of this. The way it's written is often a different language nearly than how it's spoken. Um, so yeah, so like
Look,
and then you go slow.
look.
Maybe we should put in 25%. What would the 25% be? A snail, maybe, or I don't know. Make a joke here about the government or something. And then yeah, we wanted to put in the different dialects. So we put in just the three main ones. Originally, the reason this is so like you know extra is, and maybe we will do this eventually. So we wanted to have people in here. We wanted to have like people who use it every day, putting their stuff in here, so you could hear users of the language, all different types. Um, and we might bring that back. The reason we removed it was because it's a lot of maintenance. You kind of can't just put it in without checking it, right? So yeah, and that's why we clearly label them as robot because we're running scripts online, pulling stuff from online. So like try to be a bit ethical and stuff. This is also why we put in the check to see if you're 18, the yes no. So because we can't obviously use audio if you're not, but we removed it. Um, yeah, so that's it. So then this is the way it is, and then the way it evolved was this was the first one. This was like handwritten. I think that's pretty easy. And then as we went on, myself and Michael started iterating, and like this is kind of was handwritten and then was machine generated and then added to and like edited, and in the end it was by hand. We had to edit it and stuff. But yeah, even getting the structure was hard. And you can see like this is just a lot of stuff because we have to broken down by the words. Let me just go to the top. What is here? What was the date? It was yeah. This was the first time it was done because it was generated by a tool. So you can see that was the seventh. Then you had index, and then like the future. Say what I want. You have to calculate the letter distance, the ID, and then we have and these might be old ones actually. I'm not even sure if these are the latest because obviously we uploaded them to a database and stuff. And then we had like these are like annotations and translations and explanations and the notes and um all of the stuff you'll see like the lemma position. I think you should see here what type of word it is. Like noun, verb. Yeah, there you go. Verb, pronoun. This is the word view. And if there's no IPA in this one. Maybe it's in the next one. Um, but you can see it gets really complicated, really fast. And when you guys kindly reported bugs, this is what it was. It was 11 o'clock at night going through this, trying to find the sentence and seeing what's wrong and stuff. And there's a lot of repetition here too, because it's tool based and it was generating stuff, and this was just the way we had to do to kind of between the two of us get stuff out. Um, with the app and the beta, it's very much more about trying stuff, seeing what we can do, and kind of showing what we can do and stuff, rather than getting it perfect the first time. But this is just what 1/10 from one verb, and it's 2,000. It's not so bad. 2,000 lines of code. Um, yeah. So then, actually, that's the same for all of them. Not some of these were 3,000. Actually curious now. These don't even have them. Oh, these are the old ones actually because we did update them. I might even show them now. I think I have them hidden in here somewhere. Yeah, show the chaos of our management and stuff. these kind of grew because these are what, this is like 1500, but they grew then into 3000, I think. And then when we went and did the new course, and then you can see like we've got the first two acts up, maybe, yes, the first two, but we've done out all 10. The reason they're not all up because they need to be proofread. Um, we're going to, I haven't even done it yet. This is supposed to be released in the next release this weekend, and I haven't even gone through it yet. So again, like a lot of machine generation, like a lot of like structure. Like I wasn't writing this out by hand, and then it was just a case of like going over it and with a dictionary and doing it properly. And like you can see, like a lot of this stuff directly translates into formatting. That's why I think I showed it earlier on. The formatting wasn't coming out right, and this is just the nature of building something in your free time after all your other commitments. As like for the love of it, you just don't have the time to do it right. You kind of get excited that you want to get it out there. How much lines is this? This is 4,000. Yeah, it's 5,000 lines of code. Yeah, this is how much goes into. Yeah, I need to edit this weekend. That's kind of funny. But it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be, because generally I go into the app and I just go through each of the lessons and like triple check with the dictionaries, so it's not too bad. Um, Although I do think any of my previous Irish teachers would have a laugh if they knew what I was doing now. um, yeah, so that's kind of, this is how it's done, and like you can see, this is actually a lot more clean than the one I showed you. Like we've proper ordering, broken down into these are what corresponds to the lessons. It's just sentence pairs and stuff, and then kind of very clean and nice looking kind of formatting and stuff. Still a lot of duplication and whatnot. But you can see how we went from like bare bones to chaotic iteration to like a bit more structure. And this is where we are now. And this will be rolled out because we've done all 10 of these. A great pain. um, yeah, so you can kind of see how like, just 5,000 per sentence. This isn't our focus. We're focused on features and other stuff. And you can see how mistakes might get in. And this is why we can't leave the beta yet. So that's just kind of the issue, right? Like this is just not a way to go. Like imagine I sent this to you and I said, create your own lesson, because like a course is 10 of these, so that's 50,000 lines of machine code, um, which is a crazy amount. So yeah, it's not kind of scalable and all of these kind of technical terms. Which means that every cost in labor that we need to do to keep it running is a cost we cannot spend on making more stuff for the app. So we try to keep the cost in labor down, and this is the great promise and the great beauty of software. It's like there's no materials involved, it's digits, it's digital, right? So in theory, if you're smart enough, you can make stuff that automates it. And I know automation might have a bad rep with LLMs and all that kind of stuff. And I know more than anybody because it's been pretty devastating to software developers. But from a software point of view, this idea of clever automation, but more clever abstraction, and this is something that maybe I take for granted. But the idea of a good abstraction, a zero cost abstraction, is that it just saves time and something you can build upon. If you had to describe everything in its basic words, it would take you a long time to do anything, and the cognitive load of doing that would make it difficult to reason about stuff. But if you have the right word and the person you're talking to has it, you can just say it briefly and then they're on the same page. Or there's all kinds of stuff there about people's different experiences and stuff. Um, but to give an example, like think of the word poem. How would you describe that without using that word? It's quite a difficult thing to do. So like a good abstraction is a single word that you can use to put a lot of complexity and emotion and stuff behind something. And it's the same in software. Like if you write software correctly, you can put a lot of the work and the complexity behind something else, and then you just move those things around and use them like Lego blocks, right? This is what you're trying to do all the time. Um, so without further ado, this is not the right one. Is it this one? This is the right one. Closed. Um, this is what I'm getting at. So we've built all of these pieces, and they're all Lego blocks, and we've spent ages in each one of them, and then we've put them together and stuff. But to keep going forward, what we want to do is to get like these lumpy block and make it like a nice smooth block so that we can put it anywhere we want in the app. And that's what that is. So like if you look at the bug report, it's all over the app, but it's just the same block that we just you know do it once and place it everywhere. And this is the beauty of software. So we want to take the really lumpy, messy lessons, turn them into a block that we can use first, and then next anybody else can use. So anybody else can start, making stuff. Um, so that's what we want to get away from those sheets and get to an interface in which you can create lessons, and that's is what I'm excited about. I wonder how long the video's gone on for. I've been teasing for long enough. Um, Course creator. So this is not live. This is just local. So like, there's no stress. I'm not going to do any damage. So let's say we want to create. You can't even see any of the votes. 100 most common words. It doesn't even work because it's not database. Safety first. Say you want to do one of these courses and you wanted it to look like this one. This is the only one that works locally. I don't know if anybody else spotted that, but if you turn off your internet, only this one will work because it's on the phone. This one's on the database, so you can't get it. Here I go. I digress again. The reason they're not all on the phone is because it would be like gigabytes. You'd be getting annoyed at us for using all of your storage. Anyways, so you want to create something like this, and so far it's been like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and that was just because when I was creating this from this, oh, it's gone. But when I was creating it from the regular courses, I just copy pasted the code and then changed it. And I can show you why that is. Let me just show you exactly why and why I complain about Flutter and stuff and why I spent 6 months trying to do this in Haskell. It's because, oh my god, let me get my head into the game. Where am I? Lib. This is the code. So let's say feature is, I think I called it new last year. It's like when you're working late at night, you don't have any creativity, or at least I don't. Um, this is how I have it structured, and for a bit of lesson, this is Flutter. So like the model is like the cookie cutter, the standard at which the data needs to go into it. The provider is like the I don't know, the way they're serving the stuff. It passes the information around the app, and then the repository is like the input output, the going and getting and stuff. And then the presentation is what you guys see. So the iceberg. But if I go to this one, these names are dreadful. I do apologize to Michael. I had to use my code, but like each of these files are 500 lines, and Flutter is like a phone book. It's just so like structured and stuff. Um, I can show you all this stuff because it is just literally data. Like there's nothing at risk in the app. Maybe the auth, but even still, like we've kind of purposely built that we're not doing anything that is at risk of being seen. Anything proprietary. We might even make the code open source and free. If there was a benefit in doing that, we would. It's just the embarrassment of putting out this and then upkeeping it and stuff. And then if we put out stuff and there was a vulnerability, which I think is very unlikely, to be honest, that's why it's not open source still. But we do kind of have an open source model internally. Like if you come and work with us, we'll just show you the code. We're not kind of pushed. Yeah, but this is just literally all of this code, 500 lines, is just literally showing the scaffolding of the app. So that's just that 500 lines is just showing this. That's all it does. I don't know how many lines of code is in or of words are in a book, but like this is how I spend my time. And then new lesson screen, like this is just, these are 500 lines and like, the logic. And then if you get one of these wrong, typo or something, one of these wrong, like you'll hear all about it because you get a lot of bugs and stuff. And we've structured it well. You can see that like we're importing a lot of code from elsewhere. Like we have a very modular setup and stuff. We put a lot of time into doing it right to try and save time. This is literally just the code for the screen at the end when you like see the tree grow and the little flute sound go. Um, but yeah, I mean, when I created the introduction course, just copy paste this, stuck the word new in front of it, and then changed it as I needed. And then we're reusing all the logic for like the audio, which was the most complicated stuff we had to do in the app to get it right and stuff. And a lot of this is just UI. So my reason for showing this is that like what this is. Let me actually do something a bit fun, at least for me. Um, why is that not working? I am new to Mac, in case anybody's wondering. I got one 5 months ago for this app, and I'm still getting used to it. Um, Forgive the missing T for this project. Yeah, so like let me just like clock that. This is a little tool that just counts the number of lines of code. So you'll see how many lines we have. I haven't done this in a while actually. This is like Googling yourself, when you're just trying to get a bit of a dopamine hit. You feel good about yourself. It's taken a while, so maybe there's a lot in it. Normally this is quite instant. Um, I'm not gonna wait here forever. I might just give this a miss. I've never seen this not work before. Look, maybe a bit smarter about it. Yeah, see, that's how the way it should be. Um, what do we have? Dart is the code that the language that Flutter uses. Flutter being the framework for mobile, and we have like nearly 50,000 lines of code, and then 3,000 comments. I think we probably type more into Discord than we do into the code, although it's quite verbose, so maybe it's not needed that much. And then if I just go and maybe no one else is enjoying this, but I'm just going to show you what's we call it? Is it new lesson? Yeah. So then if I go in here and I show you like that's 10,000 lines of code. So this this here is 10,000 lines of code. And I mean, I know I copy and pasted most of it and stuff, but it's still 10,000 lines of code that you kind of need to stay on top of and write tests for and keep it clean and stuff. Um, and like, it's not like, I don't know, I'm hating on my own creation, but to me, like, this is not that, like, just so much more I want to do. Like Michael did something really cool this week where he added videos into the app, and I want now for videos to be everywhere and multimedia, and like I want to have different types of stuff. And we started working with some really cool artists, and they're making some really cool assets. And I want nice trees to come in, different types of trees. So like already we're at 10,000 lines of code. So if we add more in, it's just going to grow. Um, yeah. So all of this, not this one, all of this is 10,000 lines of code. Um, and that's not even all of it because it's using the text to speech and it's using the lesson screens and all that kind of stuff from other parts of the app. So this is just like the unique stuff here. Um, yeah. Anyways, so what am I getting at? Um, well, well, instead of spending writing 10,000 lines of code, um, like it would be much better if you could just create the courses in the app, store it in a database, and have it generate. So here's where we get to the interesting part if you're still here. Here you create a course and that's not what it's called. Tishkol, oh my god. My super amazing course, whatever. Um Section title. So like Act 1, Section 1, Chapter 1 is Misha. part one, start learning here, whatever you want to call it. And then you can keep adding sections, right? Act two, you can really get creative here. And then say in Act One, so this is like literally the in the introduction course, the like the first one, Lua, Act One, Ismisha type of stuff, and then you add a lesson. So this is where it gets cool. So you can pick anything you want. So we have three types now. The typing one, which is kind of the main one. The speaking, which is not right, listening, which is a variation of typing. We just don't show you the prompt. You're supposed to use your ear. And then we have the speaking, which um, is one that every time I see, I want to work on and improve because there's so much we can do there. But we could add so much here. We could add in like multiple choice, fill in the gap. Oh, let me do this. I'm probably annoying everybody massively with my jumping around. Is it here or would it be somewhere else? I want to see how much code is in each of the widgets just to kind of give you a sense of what's involved and stuff. So, oh, why did I go back to the root? That was dumb. Um, and then let's go to what's here. Features, and then see what's the best place to check. Doing it live lesson. So yeah, I call the first one lesson and the new one new lesson. Here we go. I'm definitely a poet. Widget. I think no, I think it's probably in screens actually. These are like the lesson screens and stuff. Um, which one is it? Lesson screen body. Lesson screen. No, it's in screens. Yeah, there is an order to this chaos. I swear. Although Michael might disagree when he sees the stuff I read. Presentation, of course. Yeah, I think standard. Yeah, yeah. I just have one thing. Brown arm. I mean, hell, I should have ordered this better. So this is just the standard lesson. So it's just 700 lines of code. It's really simple, right? So that all of this stuff you boil it down. Um, take a look here. This is just 700 lines of code, and we've moved the core stuff into like a body one, and then the speaking, and then the listening and the typing all kind of come off that. But this one is 700, and then if I go to pardon me, it's probably the same. It's probably around like a few hundred. Yeah, 700 instead. Like so, these are like 700 lines of code, right? So why do you care? Each of these is probably only 700 lines of code. So we're after going from what 10,000 lines for the full course, 50,000 for the JSON, and it's just 700 lines for each of these. So if you were to create like a variation where it's like fill in the blanks or like a proper hangman game or anything that you could imagine for this lesson screen, you could add it in here. So like that's just 700 lines. Um, this is just 700 lines, right? So it's like super simple to add more stuff in, and you could, at your heart's content, add in loads of stuff. Anything you can think of, videos and stuff to make it more interesting. From the developer point of view, this is not for content creators. This is for like development to kind of make it more and more fun too. Because if I have a few hours for Friday night, sit down, I can bang out 700 lines of code. Come up with an idea throughout the week, think about it, sit down, do 700 lines of code, push it up to the repo, and then all of a sudden you have a new thing on the app. All right. Sorry, I've been chatting too much. Okay, so then you add in the lesson, and then you have like your previews here and here. Not much point doing that yet. You can give it a title, so it's not lesson one, whatever. Repetition. So in the beginning, we had the 12 times you do the lesson. In the introduction course, you just do it 3 times, finish it 3 times, 100% complete, fully trick on. This is where you can put it in as many as you want. And we can put in more options here too for all kinds of like space repetition and notifications and stuff. I literally built this tonight for fun, so bear with the messy UI. This will be cleaned up to make it simpler. And this was supposed to be a simple video, but I've been talking for ages. But it does help me understand it. So this is the first sentence pair, and I can add more. Like, so we have 10, 12. I showed you 10 sentence pairs in the JSON with the 5,000 lines. Here we could add in as many as we want, and then we go in here, and then we can build up sentences. This definitely could be improved from the UI, but it works, which is all an engineer cares about. My super educational sentence. Um, so that's just a prompt, right? Whatever you want to put in there, and then come down here, and then you want to build up your Irish sentence. So you can do this either by word. So I don't know, is whatever. Um, I'm actually not even gonna think. It's like 12 o'clock here, and yeah, whatever. And then you can pick whichever type it is, right? So I don't even. That's a cupola, right? So you add that in later on, actually. Come on, Shane, pick the one thing you haven't added in. Then you can add notes. Add in. Is that how you spell it? Is there a fada there? Um. Okay, so you can add it, and then you can add by phrase. So let's see. My name is Irish for this. No, is it my? This, and it is the cupola, which isn't here, and I've done it again. My, and then you add word, and this might look super complicated. Misha, I'm have to mess this up. I can't even think clearly. I'm just gonna put in anything, whatever. The whole point is just to show you how this works. um, yeah, okay. So then you can build it up this way, and let's add in some notes. So I don't know. Note one. Plan your videos, please. Note two. Let's see. Oh, and then let's see. Add a note. Note two. Go to bed. Yeah. So save these notes and then build it up this way. Whatever. So now, Sinead, we've done this and we can build up lessons as much as we want, and obviously clean the screen, and then let's have a little preview. So there we go. Actually, let's have a bit more fun with this. Let's add in more lessons just to kind of give you a full sense. And here it is, just like Act 1, Act 2, the lessons and stuff. And you click in here.
Is Misha.
Yeah, I'm messing up the TTS. My super educational sentence, you saw me type that out. My absolute aims of making up something interesting shows you this is legit. Nobody could plan that stupidity. You can see I went, what is it, noun, pronoun. Is I picked something at random, didn't I? And then I put in that note. Oh, that's interesting. I just randomly always goes dialectical variation. I should change that to notes. As I said, I just coded this up today, but you can see it's all here. Take a look at the lesson. I might change that to notes, and all the stuff is here. And then like note one. Oh, and it's gonna do that. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Note two, go to bed. So obviously, I've just reused the code, copied and pasted, but later on, the note two would show up here. So it'd be like note one, note two, note three, and then you can pick an icon and stuff like this. So the idea is somebody can come in, use this, and create whatever they want, any sentence pairs, and then they can create a lesson if the pronunciation view, and then they can create a lesson, and then they can create anything they want there. It could be any, like lesson one, lesson two, lesson three, and then the notes, and then obviously the style is where it looks good and stuff like this. And then later on, that's the bare bones. And this weekend I might try and get it going. But then we can add to it, right? So then we can start adding stuff to it, and it could be like it could be here. It could be like a video lesson, or it could be like here, like add in like a description up here, and then it could be like add in a video for learners, and then it could be like import a YouTube video, and the YouTube video might have. Well, I'll show you actually in a second. I'll plug my own YouTube and show you what I mean. I have a video with English and Irish subtitles, and then it could pull them in and create a lesson. It could snip the um the audio, because when you create subtitles for an audio captions, you create timestamps with the tool, and then it generates the English. So you could just annotate your Irish. I'm actually going to show that now because it is pretty cool. And yeah, like we can just keep adding to it. Like each 700 lines of code, like I said, add it in, then you have access to something else to kind of mess around with. Um, make this a bit easier to use, this type of stuff. But the idea basically being that you can like create this to your heart's oh my bad. You can edit this to your heart's content. You can put anything you want in, and that's going to show up in apps, and anybody can play with it. And then what's really cool is if you're putting the time into this and it's after going later on, it'd be like if you go back to a course you already created and own, you can edit it, right? You can change it and update it and stuff. Um, and if you do that, you put in something where you can like set a fee or a price or subscription or something, and then on the app we can process this. We might use tokens or something. People can spend the tokens, and then we like give you the lion's share of whatever you're generating, and we take a small amount for the maintenance of the app. Hopefully, hire a few junior developers to take the workload off. Basically, I'd like to get a bit of revenue into the app because I said this before, like I'm not going to be working on this full time for a variety of reasons, but um, one of them is I want to keep it fun, and like for me, I want to get like a team together working on it full time so that I can just come in and have fun and just like create one of these lessons. I could just come in and what do they call it, like fly by scoot and shoot or something, when you come in and you just create something, like add one in, like this whole feature, and then just Monday morning the junior dev has to go and try and support it, try and clean up my code, and figure out my comments and stuff. But it's a lot of fun for me. And then I guess other people too volunteering. You just come in, you have an idea, a bit of creativity, create it, and then the full time team comes in and puts in the proper designs and all that kind of stuff. Um, Shin A, that's it. I also please do support the Patreon. All of the money raised goes into the app. So obviously it's not covering salaries, it's covering server costs, um, tool subscriptions, and we're saving up a pot because we want to like pay, if it comes to it, pay for like native speech and maybe a voice actor or something, because get some really cool voices in here. Like imagine we hired a male voice for Lou, and then we had or we got someone for Lou, and then we had like someone for we had some voice acting and stuff, and just building up a pot for this type of stuff for the volunteer model as we try to figure out the revenue onto the app to kind of do more cool stuff. Yeah, so I think this kind of hybrid model might work, but let me just finish on this, and I can do it anywhere. This might be a disaster. So I'm going to show you my studio, and I'm going to show you yeah, here's all my videos and stuff. I'm not going to show you the analytics until it matters. Um, so I don't know if anybody knows this, but when I started, I was just taking old videos and I would restore the audio. And it's something actually I want to get back into because I actually really enjoy it. And I just took the old Linguaphone course from the 70s. The reason being it's no longer in print, it's no longer being made. If it was, I wouldn't do this. And if it is done in the future, I'll take it down. I don't want to be undercutting Irish creators, but this is supposed to be like one of the best. It is the Munster dialect in Corkagwina, but I just actually restored the audio here for these, and I actually like went through these meticulously. Well, not meticulously. I went through them, yeah, meticulously. But I used the book for translations. I wasn't like using my ear, so no need to stress about that. But um, I wanted to show you guys or is it would it be languages? Yeah. So I went in and I did this one by hand, the Irish one, and then YouTube has this thing where it like generates the English from the Irish, so like which is fine because you're like learning it. But this is how that looks, and so I literally drag these one by one, add it in, drag it over over the audio, get the right spelling, type it in, do it all. Like
Ceacht a naoi déag
yeah, I did all this by hand. I did this for 4 hours of audio.
an naoú ceacht déag cuairteoir.
Um, and then I tagged the names too.
Éist,
Yeah.
chud an éigean a gclócha mo.
Ní raibh me se aonní,
So the audio is pretty good, and the way it starts off, it's like pretty simple in the first video, and then it gets more complex. But what's cool is like I just showed you that one. So if I think if I go into this one, will it show it? Yeah, like you can see it's English, so it's time stamped. The same timestamp which was done in the Irish one, which I did manually, is here, and then the English was automatically done. So I would generate these from the Irish automatically, and then I just scroll down through them, making sure that it makes sense and stuff. So yeah, like this is like ready to go. Like you can just take these captions and you can download them from YouTube, and that's a lesson. You just go from this timestamp to this timestamp, get the audio and the video, and there are better videos than this. There's guys who've done Minecraft and stuff, and they've timestamped it. So like load them in, get the native audio, bit of video, and then that's a lesson. This is kind of the stuff we could do. Anyway, Sinead, that's it. That's me. It's 11:45 here now. I'm going to stop recording. I'll just post this video up. Probably be processed and released some ungodly hour tonight as I sleep. But hopefully you guys are as excited as I am. Slán live.